Hi, this is Brie Sheldon from Thoughty, and I'm here with Dan and Entro, who are the creators of Pulse. And they're going to talk to us a little bit about Pulse and the work that they're doing to bring it to English speakers, as well as what they've done in Brazil. Um, if you guys would like to take a minute to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, that would be great. We'll start
Brie,
with Dan.
who, who will start? Me? Hi, I'm Encho Chagas, and I am from Brazil, Belo Horizonte, except the city is Belo Horizonte, and I am the creator of Pulse. Currently, I'm working fully with game design and working to develop the Brazilian indie game design community.
And hi, I'm Dan, Danilo Koboldi, actually. That's how people call me. I'm the editor for Koboldi Dan, and I help Adentro with posts with every aspect besides designing the game. And I'm gonna.
Awesome. I'm sorry if I cut you off.
Oh, don't worry.
Um, So I wanted to ask if you guys could tell me a little bit about Pulse and what you've done to design it and create it since Game Chef. I know that it was the winner, which is amazing, and I think that's really something to be proud of. And I'd like to hear a little bit more about the design process and the game itself. So if you guys want to take turns or talk over each other, whatever you want to do.
That part, I guess, is it's with me. Well, I when Game Chef took place, I was working in a ad. I was a designer in a, how do you say, ad,
Advertisement agency.
an advertising agency. And it took all my time. And when the Game Chef took a week to pass, I had just a weekend to do pulls. I had the idea on my mind, and I just sat on a Friday night and kept writing until Sunday night.
Wow.
And it was a really intense experience. I have this burst of creativity, and I spend the night writing and creating, and I just sleep when I finish. It happens a little often.
Yeah.
And then after the game chef itself, I almost forgot about pools. I returned to my job, and then some months later, I was the Brazilian champion of Game Chef. And when that happened, I thought, well, I think I created something good now. No? I usually don't like anything I do. And then from that time until the world championship, I started going to many conventions and testing it at Cobolds Den, which is the store that Danilo has here in Belo Horizonte. And I kept doing many design corrections and balancing the game. And then let me talk about the game itself. Puss is a game where it's kind of a role playing game, it's kind of a board game. We don't know it yet. I guess it's a little of both. And it doesn't have a game master. All players create the same history. At the starting of the game, each player decides an element to put in the game. It can't be anything, a place, a thing, a person. anything he wants to tell about. He wants to tell the story, and then they relate all those elements in a single fact. For example, if I created a dog, and Danilo created a car, and Brie will create a beach. Then we will take turns to decide how each of these elements relates. The dog is inside the car is parked along the beach, and the beach is sunny, and everyone is happy at the beach. And then we start to rolling the dice, and each results of the dice gives us a number of pools we will draw in a paper, concentric circles. If we had a 5 in the die, we'll draw 5 circles, and then we will see where each of these circles will cross, and at every crossing we will start to ask new questions about how they related in past events or future events, and then we will start creating the story. And there are rules to balance this creation and give turns to everyone. The story is created by creating questions and answers, like how how did the dog enter the car? And someone can answer saying, there was this guy who was the owner of the car, and he put the dog in there. And later, someone can ask how the car ended up in the beach, and someone can answer that with another answer. And then, after an hour and a half of playing, we have a big story.
Actually, after every turn, we rehash the story, the narrative. So everyone creates an element and comes back, and everyone makes a question, and everyone answer one of those questions, and then we start rehashing the narrative, the story actually. And every turn, you expand that narrative, and you end up with a complete story at the end, most likely.
Sometimes
Wow.
people just start creating, and thing gets messy, but it's a you get the story, but sometimes messy.
And that's why after the game chef we created the scenarios. The scenarios are uh, more contained story. You have like a basic set of elements or a different type of rules. Like one of the scenarios are you can explore like JFK assassination and how it happened. Then you have the set elements based on the facts that are public, and people start to create hypotheses of what happened, and people start to answering them, and the narrative starts to grow. But those scenarios are more limited. Like you have a medieval scenario where all the players are actually children of a famous old adventurer that got lost inside a dungeon, and they got an item of those parents, and then you create a narrative around it. The scenarios are made to limit the experience of the game in some ways, and they are cool because you don't get a meta story if you start to expand it too much.
Wow. That sounds really awesome, actually. Um, I I like the idea of such an organic story, but I think the scenarios are cool too, to kind of draw people in.
Yeah, it's the thing we had with the creativity responsibility. Not everyone has it, so the scenarios kind of put people inside some restraints to actually make the story runs fine.
Cool. So now that Pulse is created, it's a brilliant piece of design. Um, I was one of the people who joined in on the crowdfunding for you guys to bring it to the US. And unfortunately, as you guys obviously know, that didn't go through. Um, I was very devastated because I was very excited to see it. Um, but I was wondering what you guys are doing right now to move forward. And I know you're going to be at Gen Con, which everyone should be excited about.
Yeah,
Everyone, because getting their grabby hands on this book should be a priority. Um, but do you want to tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing right now?
yeah. The crowdfunding was like disappointing for us, but somewhat expected, and that's one of the downsides for us. We never aimed on something that we couldn't realize, and we couldn't complete. And the crowdfunding was the first thing we started doing something that we wasn't sure it was going to go. And it didn't because we didn't had any pull on the foreigners community. We didn't knew anyone from US, anyone from Europe. The closest contact we had was with Avery McDowell, and she was on a turbulent time for herself, so we kind of didn't got much help from her either. But we met a lot of people through this crowdfunding, and it was that was what we got from it, and it was awesome. Meeting you, meeting Petri, meeting a lot of people. A lot of people helped with it, so we realized that we should make the book anyway. We couldn't make the collector's edition because it's a lot of work and a lot of investment, but we were able to get the regular book out, and
Awesome.
that's what we are doing now. We are finishing. The translation is complete. All the layout is complete, and we are working on actually producing the physical book itself. And
Awesome. You had mentioned before we started the call that you guys are doing the printing on your own. Um,
exactly, we do everything on our own. We buy the paper from a paper factory. Actually, the paper is imported, so we buy from these people that distributes the paper here. We take to a place where they cut it on site that we can actually print. We make a graphic knife to cut the paper in the exact shape.
Format.
Yeah, and we actually bought when we first printed Pulse. It was very expensive, like 10 times more expensive than we could make it. So we ended up buying a somewhat professional printer, and we do everything by ourselves, like from buying the paper, from binding the books. Actually, I had to the book itself has a punch from like a nail. I don't know the exactly name in English, but it's bound together by a nail. And I did all the punching for all the books myself.
oh,
Yeah, it's a lot of work for us, and but we are very proud of it. Like people usually criticize us because we are a publisher and we are not like a indie developer actually, because Issue works with us with Pulse, so it's not an independent game. But for us, it's as independent as it can be, because we do everything and we try and we do it on a different way than everybody does it. We I place a lot of importance on the product design itself, like how the book is going to look, the materials that are used. I think it does have a lot of value. Today, we are moving from printed stuff to digital stuff. So if you don't put a lot of effort on that, the object itself has no meaning. So we try to bring meaning to the book, like especially with the holes. The book can be used to draw on the circles that you make the pulses, and we try to make it like an object that you want to have, not just the PDF, not just the text, but the object to be meaningful.
I like that. I'm a big fan of games as artifacts. Um, I'm one of those people who I can have a bazillion PDFs, but the books that I really pay attention to are the ones I can hold in my hands. And that was I'd heard of Pulse and I had wanted to play it a lot from Game Chef and forward. but seeing what you guys were actually putting together on the Indiegogo really impressed me. So I'm very, very happy that you are moving forward, because I think that it's a beautiful product. And
Du- during the crowdfunding, we met a lot of people that actually helped us moving forward. We're talking with the people from Indie Press Revolution, and they're helping us with taking care of the books in the US. So things are going really fine, although the campaign flopped.
Yeah,
it's good to see some successes there. It is. Um, so since you've been doing Pulse, and obviously with Kobold's Den, you have a lot of involvement in the local community, both of you. What do you think is happening right now in the community that's like really big, um, and how do you think Pulse fits into that?
Pulse was one more game in a lot of Brazilian games that are being published from 2011 and until now. And I guess the thing that Pulse gave that was really different was the World Championship. It had a visibility out of the community. Many people from local radio stations asked me to go there and do interviews. I was at Campus Party, that is a big event, and people were asking me about the game and what was that thing that I won. Nobody even knew what was Game Chef, but they knew it was something worldwide. And since a Brazilian had won, everyone wanted to know what was it. And many people from out from the community came into the community after Game Chef. Last year, Brazilian Game Chef had 12 games. This year we had 40. And
Wow.
from the people that made games last year, we had I had all the countings. I had 12 from the 12 game from the 12 elders last year we had just 8. uh, it means 32 games from people that were not on Game Chef last year.
yeah. We promoted Game Chef last year, not this year actually, but last year during the post campaign, we promoted Game Chef a lot. We people didn't knew that pretty much people didn't knew the meaning of analogic games. You know, they knew there were board games, they knew that there were computer games, but they didn't knew story games, they didn't knew map games. They just don't know those things here. And Game Chef was very important because gave people the opportunity to see that they could just sit down, make a game, and maybe attract some recognition from around the world. But we do have a very strong and big game designer community. We just don't bridge outside Brazil, mainly because I believe it's because the language barrier. A lot of people, most people here doesn't speak English, and the people that speak English very well are they speak mostly like me and Ish, so it's not like perfect English. And
We can speak and we can't write in English. It's a lot
yeah,
harder to write it.
yeah, one of the costs of the post was to hire a professional translator for the game because we couldn't do it ourselves, and that's something that really bites us. But the community is big. It's just that we don't bridge from the indies here to the indies outside and vice versa. We have a handful of indie games, important indie games published here, like some stuff from John Wick, some stuff from yeah, it's basically John Wick, right? It doesn't have anything else.
John Wick, McDonald,
No, we don't have McDonald yet. We still
yes.
have to do it. but we don't have this bridge. And one of my goals is to publish the games that I believe are meaningful to move the community forward. One of the things I love about the McDowell books is that, for me, I'm not sure it's for everyone, but for me, all of them gives like a semiotic meaning of things you can like reflect when we're playing and after you're playing. They put you together, put you in touch with something that you don't really usually question about yourself and things like that. So I think they are very meaningful, and that's the reason why I want to publish his games. And but I don't believe most publishers here are looking towards the indie market. They are looking for Numenera, they are looking for the next D&D, Pathfinder, all the mainstream stuff. So one of the goals we have, me and Eshu, is to bring these two communities closer. If not by putting everyone together, but being this bridge ourselves. And that's been a lot of work. We are going to Gen Con pretty much without. Uh, Till now, we don't have like any hotel booked or something like that. We are kind of hoping on get the money to actually pay it later, and we are doing stuff because we believe it. It's ideologic, and it's not uh, just about getting money and paying the bills and having a work. And we believe this will eventually pay up because it's something that we believe is nice. It's something that I believe the communities from independent gamers outside Brazil can see a different approach on gaming. We have a lot of original games. One of the games we'll publish it soon, it's Samurai Dogs from Alan Silva, which is a very nice person character. It's kind of funny, but it's a game about dogs and they living in a Japanese scenario, obviously, and they try to deal with the wolf nature. It's an analogy there, and it's very nice. And it's very nice because it uses cookies, has tokens, so you can need a cookie and do something, or you can barter that cookie. It's an awesome game, and
He does a parallel between the wolf nature and the dog loyalty from the domesticated dogs. That samurais are loyal people, so the dog has that inner nature against the samurai loyalty of the dogs. It's a
yeah,
great
and
game.
somewhat it's a game that it kind of mechanizes a punchline at the end, like one of those oriental sayings. It's a very nice game, and it's a game we will bring probably next year to Gen Con, and it's something we never saw outside here, or at least not the way it was done. So that's what we want to do. We want to create a bridge between these communities and try to improve both.
Awesome. That's very inspiring. I'm excited to see Samurai Dogs next year. That sounds so cool. Cookies as tokens. I'm behind that. I did want to make sure we talked a little bit about Analog XP. Uh,
Mm.
and Joe, if you want to say a little bit about that.
The Analog XP was something that the post crowdfunding flop gave us. During the campaign, we were really there was a time for desperation. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know who to talk. We we, me and Danilo encountered one day, and we looked at each other and said, "Man, I guess this is not going to work." And and then I started sending emails to a lot of people, and we asked some friends we had, saying, "What should we do?" And then I realized we people didn't know us. People didn't know nothing we did, and here in Brazil, we do a lot of things. Not only me and Danilo, but there is a lot of people that do amazing things. And then I started to think about how could I do something for people to know us and know us before starting giving their trust to one of our games. So I decided to create the an online magazine that I call the Analog XP. And at first, I talked to some people. People didn't know what to expect from it, and then I decided, I'll just do it, and then we'll see about that. And then I created the first one. It was just an intro edition talking about Laboratório de Jogos. That is one of our great conventions about game design, where all the game designers from all over Brazil gather and talk about what they have been creating during that year. And it was we launched the crowdfunding in Laboratório de Jogos. And then I did that issue, and on the following week, the feedback was so amazing that I decided that that was a good way to follow. And now and then since we are going now to US to GameCon, I decided to create a lot of issues with a lot of things to bring to GameCon and to people know what we're doing before we get there. Now I believe people will at least have a people will know a bit of us of what we're doing now.
That's fantastic. I was really excited to see Analog XP, so I'm looking forward to more issues as well. Um, I think that's all I have time for tonight, but if you guys had anything else you wanted to cover, we have a couple more minutes. Um, so feel free to bring something up.
Yeah,
We'll both will be at GameCon. The Pulse books will be. Danilo can talk better about that because he's doing all the talks with the people.
yeah. Well, the post will be available through IPR Indie Press Evolution booth at Change Home, and you can also pre-order it on koboldsden.com/posts. And if you pre-order it, you get 2 free scenarios, and you can also buy the digital version there. And we will be at the Gen Con with Facial, having chats and talking to people, and you know, getting to know each other. We are very easily to deal with, very available, and even who knows if we can set a table there and play with the people that are interested. And I believe it's pretty much that.
Awesome.
Aisha, anything else?
And other than Pulse, we have the Enolog XP, which is being funded by my Patreon page, patreon.com/Encho, ENCHO. And I guess it's that.
Yeah, and if you need to get in contact with us, you can, find us on Facebook or G+. It's Danilo Cobolti, Eixo Chagas. It's not hard to find. Or you can leave a comment and we'll probably contact you.
Awesome. Thank you guys both so much. This was really great. I really appreciate your time. I am so excited to get my hands on Pulse. I cannot wait. And I'm looking forward to seeing more coming from you in the future.
Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot
Brie.
for the opportunity.
You guys have a good night.
Good
Ciao, everybody.
night. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Bye bye.